characters. So right about now you're thinking, great, this game sounds awesome. It's like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic game that I can kind of do whatever I want with. There's a little bit of mutant-y type stuff in it, and there's a little bit of serious-y type stuff in it, and it's kind of in the near future. This sounds great. It has an awesome game system that works really good, but I haven't even talked about Irradiated Freaks yet. That is the first supplement out for the game, and it adds a totally different dimension to the game. Now, this supplement is totally optional. At the beginning of it makes this very, very clear, because what this game adds to it are a bunch of humanoid animal races and all those weird and wonky mutations and psychic powers that you get from a game like Gamma World, which is probably the game that most role players know the best when it comes to post-apocalyptic games. What's really neat about this supplement, as opposed to the Gamma World game, is the stuff in this one isn't so random. You can start with a very stable humanoid animal race and just go with that. I mean, you're still a mutant, but you don't have any weird random powers like you would in the Gamma World game. Or if you choose, you can do that. You can add additional powers and weird mutations, or you could do that to humans just like you could in Gamma World with this game. So it adds a totally different feel to the game, but it also gives you a whole lot more choices and a whole lot more different directions you can take it in. Basically, it's like getting a whole new game if you want to go that route.
Now, you can't give a good, honest review without pointing out some of the bad things. There are a few things about this game, believe it or not, that aren't perfect. One of them is the index. I'm not real crazy about the organization. It's pretty thorough, but the way it's organized is it has things in alphabetical order, but they're under different categories. In my opinion, if I knew what category it was in, I'd know where it was in the rule book, so I wouldn't be looking in the index in the first place. Another thing was some of the GM advice, and there's a big section on GM advice and a big section on player advice, but some of the little commentary in there sort of implies that some things are bad fun. In other words, some things just aren't going to be fun if you do it this way. And if there's one thing I've learned about role-playing with different people is something that's fun for one person might not be fun for another person. Something that's not fun for another person might be a lot of fun for another person. So I don't think necessarily that should be in the advice section saying, you know, this isn't going to be fun, you shouldn't mess with this. Because it might be fun for some people. But, you know, I'm kind of nitpicking there. The other thing that might be considered a down point is there's no specific setting. There's a general setting. Like I said, it's post-apocalyptic. It's probably in the near future. There's some things that are taken for granted. You know, it's taken for granted that cars are driving on the street. You know, they have machine guns and stuff like that. Gas is rare. You know, food is rare. People are scavenging in the ruins. Mutants aren't popular, you know, and it tells where people come from, like the barter towns and stuff like that, and what sort of thing is going around. But there's no setting. There's no, like, meta plot. This story's going on, and there's no secret societies or just regular societies or government or anything like that. And, you know, there's no maps or locations saying this is going on in this area, this is going on in that area. That stuff is left up to the GM. Now, for me, I mean, that's a feature, not a negative. But for a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but for some people, they're going to want something much more set in stone. They're going to want to know, okay, this is going on here, this is going on there. There's this meta plot going on, and this is where my characters are going to fit into it. But for the rest of the people, you know, the GM's going to have to do a little work. It can be as little or as much as you want. I mean, a GM could simply come in and say, this is Mad Max role-playing game. I'm going to have it just like the Mad Max world. There you are in the middle of the desert, and go with that. So, you know, the setting part is going to have different value to different people. So, that's about all there is to say about this game right now. I think it is it's an awesome game. I think it's the best game that I purchased in the last 2 years, easily. The system works great. It's simple. It's easy to learn. I learned it on one read-through when I first read it, and in about 10 minutes I told all my friends how to play it, and they all knew how to play the game. Character generation is simple and fast, but gives you a wide, diverse variety of different kind of characters you can have. And that's something that players of the game are going to like. GM's going to like running the game. Players are going to like playing the characters in the game. Plus, you know, it's a good post-apocalyptic setting that if you've been looking for something like that, you're really going to enjoy this game, especially if you've always wanted to play in a Mad Max type environment. I think this is far superior for doing that to any other post-apocalyptic game I've ever played. The other thing that's awesome about it is the Irradiated Freaks supplement adds the whole Gamma World aspect to it with all the mutated animals and mutated plants, which I didn't mention before, and psychic powers and things like that. Plus, if you liked a game like Palladium's After the Bomb with more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type animals, you have that aspect too, with a rule system that is much better than any of the Gamma World versions that have come out. So, I mean, that's a big plus right there. This could very well replace that game for you. I know it has for me. This will be my go-to game for everything post-apocalyptic that I'm personally going to run. I'm hoping to see them expand this game a little bit in the future. You know, I'm not crazy about Magic, but I know a lot of people are going to want to run Thundar the Barbarian type things. And I think this game with a Magic supplement would do something like that. I'm looking forward to see what they come out with this game, and in my opinion, I think anyone who's interested in this type of genre should give this one a shot. Alright, well, thanks for taking the time out of your life to watch this video review. I hope it helped to give you kind of an idea of what this game is about, and I really think you're going to love it. Go buy it. Atomic Highway!